Hey, what's the deal, YouTube? It's your girl, Miss Honey. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Welcome back. It is your girl, Miss Honey, here to do it's Sunday. So we're gonna do Power Book 3, Raising Kanan. This is season 2, episode 3, and I think it's Sleeping Dogs is the name of the episode. I want to thank everyone for your well wishes. Most of you know, if you follow me at all on YouTube, that I had total joint knee replacement on Monday past, and I'm still recuperating from that. So I am going to do this review. I'm not going to be on TSF Entertainment later this evening, but I'm going to drop their link in my on my community wall, and I want to encourage you guys to go out there and watch their commentary on the show. I won't be there because I've got to find time to sleep. Like, I'm still working, believe it or not, because I'm also having my right leg done at the end of October. So I have to be very conservative with my time off. And I've not slept at all this weekend. Like, I don't know. I mean, everybody was talking about these opioids. Like, they were just going to be, you have to be so careful with them. And I'm just like, all they do is constipate you and keep you up. Like, for me, I sleep 10, 20 minutes at a time, maybe, and then I'm up. I'm up a lot. I cannot rest at all. So I've got to go back to bed today and just try to just chill out because tomorrow is work day for me. So, down off the soapbox, let's get into this episode. I personally found that it was a little bit lackluster. I'd love to hear what you guys think about the episode. Put it down below. I did, talk to a couple of people, DM'd me. We were DMing and talking about the show, and other people like it. I think it's just me. I think I'm just exhausted and maybe I'm not able to enjoy it, but I did watch it twice and I did enjoy elements of it. I still will say that the gentleman who plays Marvin is doing a really good job this season. I don't know. I just find him super likable this season. And last season, I was okay with him being snuffed, if you remember. Who's the cruelest? Oh, but I like him this season. I really like what he's got going on with the anger management coach and that little flirtatious thing they have going on. I love this whole 360 turnabout that he has taken with his relationship with Juke. I think maybe the counselor will be able to help him sort of explore those emotions a little bit more. Right now, he doesn't have the capacity. He does have those feelings, but he doesn't have the capacity to articulate or explore those feelings. And I'm just enjoying this whole vibe that Marvin is giving off this season, including speaking up very, very intelligently to Rock when she approaches him about expanding the business to now a third location now in Jersey. He says, we're moving too fast. We need to slow down. Maybe we just need to pace ourselves. I mean, it's like bada bing, bada boom, bada boom, bada boom, bada bing. You know what I'm saying? It's like kill Scrappy and get another location. He's like, pace yourself, Rock. Like, what are we doing here? Like, we need to do this thing smart. And all the way out this episode, he does tend to have a bit of wise words for Rock as to how she's moving. So I like Marvin this season, this character this season. Next, who likes Tahitian treats? Y'all remember Tahitian treat? Oh my gosh, we used to love Tahitian treat. Okay, I bring up Tahitian treat. If you've already seen the episode, you know why. It's because Unique has run down on the bodega and Juliana. He has taken Juliana at gunpoint and also taken Rock's money. And Juliana's so busy there watching her little black and white TV at the register, child. She does not see that he has walked up in there, and he is in fact the competition, and he is also in fact the same person that you told uh Juliana to snitch on, basically. You know what I'm saying? Like, if she had just looked up instead of just saying, "Oh, Tahitian treat, 89 cents," and kept watching her program, she might have had a chance, a fighting chance. But alas, Juliana did not. And she's still alive. She just kidnapped. That's all. But we gonna talk about it. Okay, so like I said, Unique rolls up on Juliana, takes Juliana, and he takes Rock's money. We see where Rock, oh, Rock goes off the head, take care of her business for the day, and Kanan is on his way to school, I guess, because all we ever see Kanan do is be outside of that doggone convenience store. You know what I'm saying? Like, he has just become. We know why Rock had to bring Kanan back from Virginia, from Maryland. Okay, we know why, because the show is named after him, and that is how we move the storyline along. You know what I'm saying? We need all characters in play. But honestly, all things being equal, Kanan didn't need to come back to New York. He ain't doing nothing. He ain't doing nothing but running behind famous. How a dude with a house gonna run behind a homeless man? Huh? How a dude with a house and money and a mama gonna run behind a man who got kicked out of his house and stealing from his own mama? How? How? It's ridiculous. It's dumb. Anyway, he's supposed to be on his way to school, and Detective Howard is sitting outside. And Detective Howard said, "Yo, B, what's good?" I was like, "Oh, I forgot about the lingo. Yo, B, what's good?" And I mean, immediately he looks like he's constipated. He's like, "Ooh, yeah, it's the dude you shot last season." And Detective Howard was like, "Get in, hop in." and Kanan gets in. I was like, "Oh man, I don't know if that was smart." Like, he's literally stuck in jello, right? Gets in the car, and he was like, "I don't know how to tell you this. This is gonna be really tough, and I know you think I'm crazy and all of this other stuff, but I'm your daddy. I'm your father." And Kanan was like, I think I hear my mom." He was like, "No, your mom's gone. I watched her leave." He was like, "What? Did I leave the stove?" He was like, No. There's nothing going on. So he was like, "I'm sure my kids, friends are waiting on me at the school bus because he was like, "Okay, well, go ahead on and meet your schoolmates. But listen, we gonna talk, okay?" And Kanan is like, "Okay, yeah, we gonna talk." Like, still at some point he feels like, I don't know, something about this guy is something not adding up. Like, my mom is not telling me all the whole story, right? So we see where Rock, she got the Bases, she got the 40s, and now she wants this place in Jersey. And like I said, Marvin wants her to pump her brakes a little bit, right? Like, slow it down. Meanwhile, Juke is in the studio with Lou, and she has created this beautiful, beautiful song that I think is all about Nicole and all about her feelings about what happened to Nicole and how she blames herself and how she feels guilty and how much she loves her. And it is just this beautiful soliloquy, and she just sings it in this most dramatic, painful, theatrical way, and her voice just does flips and tricks and turns and wiggles and giggles and sniggles, and everybody is just mesmerized, right? Camacho is like, "Good job, you did a good job. I loved everything about it, except the fact that you look like a dude." Okay, you look like a dude, and you can't sell no song. You can't sell this song looking like a dude. So what I'm gonna need you to do is dial it back a little bit, okay, and sex it up a little bit. And Lou is like, "Hold your horses, Camacho. First of all, don't talk to my niece like that. A, and B, she's got a beautiful voice, and she's just a child, and you don't talk to her like that." I was like, "Okay, I almost believe you, Lou. Almost. But then Lou turns around and says, "Listen, let me see if I can find a better way to say this. You got a beautiful voice. We just got to bring the beautiful out on the outside of you, right?" And she was like, "This is who I am. No one's gonna change who I am. This is who I be, okay? And no one is going to No one's gonna, change it. This is how I always been. Why can't I do what I do and still be who I be? He was like, no, you're beautiful. You just could be more beautiful. And she just took her stuff and she was like, you know what? I'll talk to you later. And she was out, right? He regretted it. He did. He regretted it. But at the same time, it's like, this is what it was. This is what it was. This is the early 90s. This is what it is. Period. Okay, so we see where Crown, like I said, he lets her know she got to change her look. We see where Lou also confronts Crown and tells Crown, you just got so much to say to everybody, including my girlfriend who you got a job in California. And he was like, well, she asked me for a favor. I did her a favor. And he knew not to tell the truth. Like, he doing a lot of real shoddy, disrespectful, cocky behind stuff, Crown is. But at the same time, he know he not going to stand there in Lou's face and talk to him disrespectful. Because Lou will mollywop him up and down that studio. Right? He was smart enough not to go too far. Okay? So, we see where Marvin is in his I forget what the people call it, what the boys call it down at the bases. They call it the angry ninja class. He go to the angry ninja class, and even though he come out of the angry ninja class angrier than when he went in, right? And he's in there and he's been his normal passive aggressive self, and the teacher Renee is not going to let him just once again sit through class eating all the snacks and not participating, not contributing to the conversation, not doing the work, right? She was like, obviously you've got some instances where you have been pushed to this place where you have been angry. And he says, listen, this is who I am. This is how I handle a situation. Someone rolls up on me wrong, I roll back over them, right? Until I crush them, right? And I don't stop until it's done. And she was like, well, we actually call that open and aggressive, right? Like you don't run from confrontation. You meet that confrontation head on. You're open to the confrontation and you are the dominant aggressor in that confrontation. So we call that a go open and aggressive. He was like, okay, I'll take that. That's what I am. Open and aggressive, right? And so, and it's something about him. It's something about the way Marvin swinging that thing. It's something about the way he's sitting there with his legs crossed and he's well groomed and his clothes are coiffed. You know what I'm saying? It's something about it. And she's kind of liking it. Yeah, he angry and he's stubborn and he hard to deal with and he passive aggressive and all of that. But it's something about it she like, right? And she tells him, listen, whenever you met with these situations, just breathe. Just breathe. Just take a deep breath in, hold it for a few seconds, and release it. We see where Famous is still homeless, you guys. He is sitting on a stoop of a house that he can't afford. He just saw an ad in the paper and he came to see it. Now, it is the slum, right? Okay, it's Amityville up in that house. But at the same time, he can't afford it. No way. It don't even matter how scary or spooky or great the place is. He can't afford it. No which kind of way. Okay, so Kanan decides at the same time that he, they talking about that, Famous lets out that Scrap is dead. And Kanan is just like none the wiser. Like I could feel that moment because I've had that moment where you just talked to somebody or you just dealt with somebody and people are like, man, ever since something happened to so-and-so and so, you're like, wait, what are you talking about? I just talked to him Monday. Like, what happened to so-and-so and so? And they're like, you know what, so-and-so did. You like, it's like your heart just sinks. Like, it's just like, what? Like, wait, what? I don't know. Wait, okay, I must have blacked out. Are you telling me that this person is dead? And then he's like, yeah, Scrap is dead. And he was like, yeah, he killed himself. They found him in an abandoned building. He shot himself in the head. And then Kanan was like, that's not true. That is not true. I just saw him. He was like, man, I just saw everybody roll up at his house, at his mom's house with their condolences. Scrap is definitely dead, right? It's a crazy moment because the only moment of mourning that we really got was what we gave Scrap last episode, at the end of the episode when it all went down, and also this moment that Kanan is having, reliving it, like it is like he was there, like it has hit him like a ton of bricks. And he and Famous are walking up the sidewalk now, and they trying to make, Famous is trying to figure out what he gonna do to get this money and these tapes, and he's behind, and he's living in the YMCA, and in the YMCA the things can be kind of violent, and I'm saying aggressive, openly aggressive there too. And so he is trying to talk all that through. Meanwhile, Kanan is like, well, I just saw him. But why would my mom tell me? Like, why wouldn't anybody say anything? Like, why isn't anybody upset? Like, why aren't they going to bat for him? Like, what is going on? Like, he is completely turned around, and Famous is like, look, sorry, the dude is dead, but I'm still living and I'm homeless. Can we help me do this? And Kanan decides, you know what, that's fine. But we're gonna get you your money. We're gonna get you your money. We're gonna do it with the tapes. The tapes aren't selling. Don't worry about it. We're gonna sell the tapes, but different kind of tape. Okay, don't worry about it. I got you. Okay, so it's a moment. It is a moment. And I feel for Kanan in these moments. I feel like episode 1, we kind of were pushed with this overly mature Kanan. Right? His behavior was overly mature behavior. And then we put him back in school, but we haven't really, I don't know. It's like we put him back in the child slot, but I don't know. We haven't, outside of his conversations with Juke, we aren't really exploring what Kanan is going through. Kanan is, all the other characters are moving. All the other characters are progressing, and Kanan seems to be standing still, right? So far, in season 3 episodes in, the Kanan character is really standing still. And so this moment of emotion and pain that he has about Scrap, I don't know, man. It was good. I really enjoyed it. I think it was a good moment. Okay, so let's see here. We see where Rock is outside the bodega, right? And she dressed like Michael Jackson. She gotta get out of her Range Rover, baby, get her handbag and knock on there. She tried to go in the store, the door is locked, and she knock on the door and the door is locked. She reach inside and pull out her flip phone, and she called up, Juliana don't answer, and so she walked down to the window with the phone, and she's talking to Juliana on the voicemail. She's like, where you at? Why is the store closed? What's going on? Call me back. And then she goes back to the door, knocks again, no answer, shakes it, no answer. No matter, I got the key. First of all, where your key at? Why we doing all this, Rock? Where's your key? So she got the key. She goes inside, and she sees where the TV cameras have been wiped, and the register is open, but there's money in it. She goes back to the back. No sign of Juliana. She goes back to the back. All the money is gone, and she is immediately calling the boys, Marvin and Lou. Lou is at the studio, and he is making a beat for Zisa, and he is focused on that. And he was like, "Not now, Rock. I'm working. He lets the beat roll, right? Marvin is on his way, however, to meet Rock. Okay, because he does, however, take his phone calls. He answers his pager. So you guys know we talked last week about how Marvin and Lou characters have kind of switched roles a little bit. So we see where Marvin and Renee, before he left class, they kind of had this like flirtation type thing going on. And his phone, his beep was beeping. Of course, we know it's Rock. We see where Kanan gets the idea to help Famous by stealing from Rock. And he goes down to the Dicey's projects and goes through into the projects, up the elevator, around, like through the whole maze of security, which is so weird to me. They have so much security there. In one apartment, they got like 6-7 dudes in one apartment, but you didn't have one person sitting on the bodega. You ain't have not one person sitting on the bodega, Rock. This is the kind of stupid stuff you was doing in season 1, which is why I didn't understand why, we should respect you as a queen pin, because the way you move and it's just a little, I don't know, fugazi, right? But I digress. So Kanan does go down there and he acts like he's there to see Marvin, but in fact what he does is steal a whole bag of dope. Right? You stealing from your mama. I guess you don't realize you obviously have not come into full fruition the fact that your mama is a stone cold killer. And the last person you need to be stealing from is Raquel Thomas. Apparently, apparently, we in the audience are the only ones that know that. Kanan does not in fact know that yet. Okay. So we see where uh um Rock goes by Juliana's house to check for her there. She's not there. She goes, looks for her left and right. She's knocking. The car is not there. She knows something is going on. Someone is taking her. Well, you guys know Juliana is also connected to the Colombians. Her cousin is Rock's distributor. He's the plug. And so she got to deal with this thing real delicately. She got to figure out, one, did Juliana run off on her? Two, and take her money with her, but right? Because she was having a conversation about why you got so much money and why you just sitting on it. I sent all my money home to Colombia. Or three, was Juliana and her cousin in on it, taking all the Rock's money? Like, are they gonna have to go to war with the Colombians? They can't go to war with Colombians, child. They can't even keep money in the bodega. So I doubt it. You know what I'm saying? I doubt it. But she's just trying to figure all this stuff out. And she got to come up on Juliana some type of way, whether dead or alive. She got to figure this thing out. So it's a moment, right? We see where Rock meets up with Marvin, and she tells him about Juliana and tells him about the money, and then they talk about Colombia and all of these things and everything that it means. And it seems like Marvin's like, seems like somebody just took something from you. Like they want you to come get it. Like they're trying to punish you. Like they're trying to get your attention. And she was unique. Wasn't nobody but this ninja do this, something like this. He's always messing with my business. Can't nobody get up under my skin like Unique. Everybody agrees it's Unique. Okay? And so she want Marvin to get on it. Get on it. Find out where this ninja is. Find out where Juliana is. And please find out where my money is. Okay? We see where Kanan and Famous sell Rock's stolen drugs. Outside in the tape cassette covers. It's weird. Good idea. Kanan has a ton of good ideas. I'm just not sure. I don't know. I don't know what's going on with the Kanan character. So we see where Burke is sitting at home with her daddy, and she talking to her daddy, and they talking about her partner, Detective Howard. And he asked her a lot of pointed questions about Detective Howard and how he survived. And he said he got amnesia. And I don't believe he got amnesia. Well, if anybody should know what's going on with him, is you. You're his partner. You guys are supposed to be super close. You're supposed to be inseparable. It's bull crap. It's bull crap. It's just a way to keep people tethered to each other, even if they are unequally yoked, even as friends, as partners, as couples, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like you it's like patriotism. You're trying to create this allegiance to something. That means you're supposed to have this undying loyalty when you both are supposed to be as individual come. Right? It should be his choice to pursue this. If he says he doesn't remember, he doesn't remember, and she should let it go. Not that she shouldn't put a pin in it, but just because she's his partner, she's not obligated to go digging through his trash and sitting outside his door and going and talking to her ex-partner, who is also her ex-lover, about the situation and sharing her thoughts and concerns about the situations with her too. And they, first of all, they dressed alike. They both look like two matching bookends, her and the ex-lover, ex-partner. Okay. Outside of that, you telling all Detective Howard business. All of Detective Howard business. Now, how is he your partner if you telling all his business? You know what I'm saying? You're not even doing this thing discreetly, girl. You're not even doing this thing discreetly. And your daddy didn't tell you nothing new. And your goddamn ex-partner, ex-lover didn't tell you nothing new. But yet and still, you sitting outside of Detective Howard's house stalking him. watching people come and go from his house. You out of order. You're out of order. You're out of order, and you're gonna fool around and find yourself framed. You gonna find yourself framed and half dead too. That's why you yelled out to doggone Juke. You remember you owe me. She's a teenager. She don't owe you jack. Ooh, that Burke is getting on my nerves. We see where Zisa is back in the studio, and she got Cartier with her, and she just needs a better song. Like that song she had, it's just real. Oh, it's just real lackluster, you know. If you go back now and listen to a lot of the music we listened to back then, you will, some of it you will be like, oh yeah, back then we used to really be bumping to it, and now when you hear it, you're like, I don't know. She needs a better song, basically. She does. She needs a better song. I think what's gonna happen is she gonna end up taking Juke's song. That's what I think. That's what I think. She gonna end up taking Juke's song because she's the sexy face that needs to go with the sexy voice. It's crazy, but I think that's what's gonna happen. Rock rolls up on Lou down at the studio while she's singing, and Cartier, when he sees her in that dress like Michael Jackson, baby, with that itty bitty teeny tiny inchy waist, he was like, put that pwa 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 pwa. Really, he just told her some Shakespeare, baby. He wrote them sonnets out on her, okay? He was like, the east is to the west, and woo 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 woo. And she was like, excuse me? And he was like, that's Shakespeare. And you can see by the way Rock dropped her eyes. One, she liked it, and two, she knew who Shakespeare was. I see you. He was like, Cartier for Reed, and he went to shake her hand, and she looked at his hand, and looked at him, and looked at his hand, looked at him, and she said, I know who you are. I know who you are. Lou, I need to talk to you for a minute. So they go in the office. Immediately, Crown goes to the door and put his ear to the door. Fareed is like, you a nosy little so-and-so, aren't you? And Crown is like, and he puts his ear to the door and he listens. And he hears Rock talk about the bodega was hit and Juliana's gone and the money's gone. And I called you, and why aren't you answering? I need you to get out on the street and find out where my money is and where Juliana is. I need you to get out there right now and do some real work. And Lou is like, no problem, bet I'm going to do the real work. But listen, I think if we talk to the Colombians, Rock is like, we need to fix this before we bring the Colombians in on this, because we don't know how the Colombians going to come out on the bag on us. We don't know if the Colombians even in on this with us. On us. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe they run a game on us. Like we got to get some answers before we can make any moves. I need you to get out on the street and get me them answers. And Lou was like, oh, no doubt. So then we see where Marvin gets a chance to practice his deep breathing and techniques, because it's a guy in a wheelchair over at the bases who, even though he's in a wheelchair and completely paralyzed from the waist down, seems to think that he can still mollywop on people and do it successfully. Like if you sneak up on them and they have been tranquilized, perhaps, sir, but Marvin is standing in front of you and you know he got a weapon on him. So might want to dial it down a notch, but no, he was like, I can't get on the elevator. I have to wait 45 minutes, and the money y'all give isn't enough. And whoop, 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 whoop. And Marvin is like, let me tell you what you need to do. Let me tell you what you're not going to do. Okay? And the guy's like, I wish you would. And Marvin's like, you know what? You know what? Let's just approach this a different way. Gets the elevator, come down, puts the guy on the elevator. Other people want to get on the elevator. He sends the guy on up by himself. Okay, and he takes another deep breath. And he tells the people, I'm deep breathing. It really does help. I got open aggression issues. Yeah, it's supposed to help with that. I like Marvin this season. Okay, we see where Detective Howard, let me see here. What does this say? Detective Howard is with a lady of the night. Baby, she got some of the most chocolatest areolas. I was like, oh, these some old 1970s areolas. Back when they pointed to the sun. Oh, the nipples were strong and long. They pointed towards the moon and they were dark. Like the darkest, richest chocolate in Africa. Oh, and she is, uh, uh, oh. Okay, goes to light up a cigarette post coitus, and he is like, I know you're not finna light up no cigarette, and I just got over cancer. And she was like, okay, I guess not. He politely took that cigarette from her and put it over there on the other side, on his side of the bed. I was like, something tells me it ain't going in the trash. You know what I'm saying? Oh, he just eased you out of one of your cigs, girl. So, they get to talking because she got to get up dressed and she got to get home. And he said, well, what your son think you doing when you out here hoeing? And he didn't say hoeing, but when you working. And she was like, oh, he thinks I cut hair. He thinks I work at a barbershop. And he was like, I mean, she said, he's a teenager, of course, so he doesn't have a lot to say. He's in that mean phase. And Detective Howard is like, yeah, yeah, yeah. You think he don't know? She was like, know what? Know what you do. What do I do? She's getting defensive. And he was like, I'm just saying, kids know more than you think they know, but at the same time, it's a hard conversation to have with him, so I can understand you not having it. And the girl is like, listen, it don't matter what I do. He may or may not know that I am a prostitute, but what he does know for sure is that I would die for him. I would ride for him. I would do anything for him. And it clicks something in Detective Howard's head. Okay, she's got a point. And so the lady leaves his house and we see where Burke is sitting outside watching, and she follows the lady. I just was like, this lady's an idiot. She's such a nuisance. We see where Warrell meets Rock, and he has no answers about Juliana or her money. And she tells him, listen, what I need you to do is to go out there and get me those answers or get dead. Right? Your life depends on it, in other words. If you ain't got nothing for me, I ain't got nothing for you but a bullet. Okay? And she peels off. And he's caught between a rock and a hard place because Unique could pop off and kill him. And he done told Unique he don't want nothing to do with him. At the same time, Rock and them have got to think that he had something to do with this, because no sooner than he got into the group with them, by force, mind you, they was robbed. So we see where Kanan tells Juke what Detective Howard said. And she's like, what? He definitely doesn't know. If he knew, he would have said something. I'm sure he can't know. He's just talking crazy, and your mom is right, and he's nuts, and you can't tell your mom. He was like, I think I should talk to my mom about it. She was like, are you talking about telling your mama? I was like, Juke know. Juke know. And she knows she had something to do with her mama leaving. She just don't know what yet. I know too, Juke. So, uh, at the same time, Rock walks in and she's like, what y'all talking about? And Juke's like, I'm going to bed. And she comes in and sits down next to Kanan. She said, and Kanan tells her, Detective Howard, I talked to Detective Howard, and she was like, okay, baby, what did he say? And I was like, oh, really? Nurturing, caring Rock is what we're getting right now. And he was like, yeah, he says he's my dad. And she started laughing. Wow, ridiculous. He says it's your dad and Juke's dad and lose his twin brother. I was like, girl, you putting 20 on 10. 20 on 10. Okay. All right, you're doing it. You're doing it up real big. That's why I think we're gonna have like a who shot JR moment. I'm not saying Rock gonna die in this episode. I mentioned JR specifically because y'all remember we wasn't sure if JR was dead. JR Ewing was dead. All we know is that he did in fact get shot. And then the season went off, and it wasn't until the next season we realized that he was still alive, and we had no idea who shot him. So we spent the whole next season trying to figure out who shot JR. Okay. So she tells him, just ignore him. He talks crazy. That's why I approached you, because he came to me with that crazy talk before I spoke to you. That's why I was so nervous about speaking to you about it, because I was worried how he would approach you. You just keep letting me know anything he says, and I'm going to keep clearing it up for you. And you ain't going to have to worry about it. I was like, oh. So he also asked about Scrap. He asked her, he says, why you ain't tell me about Scrap? And she just kind of brushes it off. Every man makes their decision. This is the decision he made. This is how he wanted to go out. Everybody goes through their own things, and you're going to make your decision. We're all going to make our decisions how we're going to go out. Boop, 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 boop. And I just was like, Rock. She's definitely going to be just, she is, I mean, coasting at a very high rate of speed down into the pit of hate, not just from the viewers, but from the characters on the show. Like, I do think it's going to be this moment where somebody is going to take a hit out on Rock, a swing at Rock, or something to take her down a peg or two, and we're not going to know who did it. But let's move on. We see, like I said, she brushes him off, and we see where let me see. We see where Juke is on the tape player when Marvin hops into the car with Lou. And Lou is playing the song that Juke just recorded in the studio. And he turns it down a little bit, but as they're talking, Marvin realized that it's Juke's voice. And he was like, "That's Juke." He's like, "Man, she really is good. She's got a gift." And Lou is like, "We all know she had a gift, even though you wasn't nurturing it either, Lou. You wasn't nurturing it either. And you did a half arse job trying to support her in being her own individual self. So just take it down a notch, Lou. Take it down a notch. Taking this superior stance where as it pertains to Juke. Okay? You been helping everybody but Juke. All right? And so he says, "Does she ask about me?" Marvin says, "Does she ask about me?" And Lou is like, I mean, you want me to lie? Or and Marvin is like, man, he gets upset and he's gonna get out of the car. And Lou is like, "No, just I mean, man, I just," he sees that it's not just this angry Marvin. Like, Marvin is realizes he really messed up. He says out loud, verbally, "I really messed up. I did things wrong." And Lou is like, "We all know you was doing things wrong." And that, I think, is what frustrated Marvin, is because I don't know how to navigate everything. And when you have a community, a village, your family, they're supposed to help you navigate some things. They're supposed to lend some voices in that. And for whatever reason, you guys didn't feel like you could come to me, whether it was my own issues, my own anger, whatever, whatever. That's why I really see this Marvin character blossoming a lot more. Because in theory, he's the only one really doing work on himself. Okay. So that was another really, really good moment, and another reason why I really love the Marvin character in season 2 here. We see where Juke is following oh yeah, okay, so um Crown comes over to see Rock, and Famous and Kanan sitting on the stoop at Kanan house. And Camacho comes up. He sees that he's looking at the housing ad, the one ads for apartments. He was like, "You looking for a place to stay?" "Yeah, I got kicked out." He was like, "Me and Kanan was able to hustle up on some money." You wasn't supposed to talk about that. That was stolen drugs, and it's ill-gotten gain, and mom is the word. People got to learn how to take stuff to their grave, but Famous has never been good at taking stuff to his grave. So that's gonna come back to bite Kanan and Famous in the butt. I promise you. So he tells him he knows a friend of a friend of a friend. Basically, he talking about Fareed, Cartier Fareed got some apartment houses, and he may be able to get him a spot in the apartment house. It ain't gonna be luxurious, but Famous don't care. He's not gonna be down at the YMCA getting groped on, so he don't really care. Let's do this. He goes in to see Rock. Rock is don't have time. She don't feel like being bothered. She got to find Juliana. She got to find this money. "What you got for me?" And he tells her that he wants her to him out of the studio. Buy him out of the studio. And what he's going to do is she can run the money through the studio then, and he'll help her get Famous out of, Lou out of the studio and back on the streets. And Rock is like, then her phone rings. She answers the phone, and Crown still wants to talk, but Rock ain't got time to talk because they done found where Unique is, and she got to go deal with that. And he was like, "Listen, we need to finish this up, because if Lou finds out I came to you and talked to you," she was like, "He's not going to find anything out. Mom's the word, but I got to go." So we see where Juke has been following her mom. She follows her mom to this church. She goes inside the church and she sees her mom singing. And her mom's got a beautiful voice just like Juke. And she gets so mesmerized by her voice, she doesn't realize she needs to be hiding And her mom sees her, and she seems like she recognizes her. Juke snaps too. She runs down the stairs back out of the church, and the mom runs after her. She doesn't catch up with her, but she does run after her. So I'm interested in seeing where that's gonna go. We see where Warrell, uh, Rock, Marvin, and Lou are going into the old haberdashery to meet up with Unique. Unique got Juliana there sitting down. He got a gun to her neck. And he is telling her he want to talk, and she's like, "Where's my money?" He was like, "You know what? You ruined me. You ruined me good. My name is Mud out here. I'm basically, uh, poison. Like nobody will touch me. Nobody will deal with me. All I want is my peace. All I want is to live my regular life. How you gonna live your regular life if you done took our money? I'm just letting you know I could touch you at any time. I'm telling you that we could be at war, but I don't want to be at war. I want us to have peace. I want you to stay out of my business. Stay out of my family's business. Leave me alone. Let me be. Let me go. Let me change my life." And Rock is like, "Give me that gat." Unique gives her the gat. She takes the gat, and all the other dudes got guns on him. And they turn him around, and he puts his hands up, and she said, "You know what? You're gonna get your peace, the peace that you wanted, the PACE that you wanted, PEACE that you wanted, but give me my goddamn money." We see the last scene of the episode where Howard approaches Kanan, and now he has a completely different approach. He's not just dropping this giant elephant in the middle of the room. He tells Kanan, he said, "Not only did I I know you shot me. I know you was the one that shot me. Okay, I don't have amnesia. I know that you're the one that shot me. Not only did I take a bullet from you, but I took a bullet for you, because I never told anybody that you were the one that shot me. And the reason why I didn't do that is because you are my son." And it clicks for Kanan. This why this dude not lying. He's not lying. Everything he's done to protect me. This is why I've been seeing him skulking around and watching me and trying to be with me, reach out to me in the only way he thought he could do safely. Despite what I did to him, it's just all over Kanan's face. And this is how the episode ends. And the thing about it is, it's a lot. It's a lot of super, super heavy material, right? At the same time, I'm going back to my earlier theory, and that is, I do think we're going to have like a who shot JR moment with The Rock. I do think that. I feel like that's going to happen. I think that's inevitable. The way all of the characters are positioning themselves to really, really despise Rob. Kanan, Juke, Marvin. I think Juke and Marvin both are in the same dark about why or how or, Juke's mom left. I really do believe that. I think Lou's going to have an issue with the fact that she's taken up partnership with Crown over him. You know what I mean? At the same time, I feel like maybe coming into season 4, and I know I'm jumping way ahead, we might get to see the Cartier Fareed character with Rock as she recuperates from being shot. I don't know. I'm on that Percocet. Y'all. Thank you so much again for your well wishes. I would love to hear what you thought about this episode. Please put it down below. Y'all know to give this video a thumbs up. I don't have to tell y'all that. Y'all are not children. You know what your responsibilities are. You know to come over here and give me a thumbs up and tell me what you think down below. Okay? So I'm looking forward to reading your comments. Listen, until next time, honeybees. Mwah, 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 mwah. Ah, holla.